What is a subtle sign that someone is really intelligent? They can switch up the way they talk to match the person they're talking to without sounding condescending. They listen to how others learn and explain it in that person's language of understanding. They draw wisdom from multiple sources. Wait, but that might be more wise than intelligent. But I guess those two tend to be seen together a lot. They are curious about everything. To be intelligent you need to be knowledgeable, and you can't be knowledgeable if you are never curious. You can memorize a bunch of random facts and repeat them, that's knowledge. But knowing what to do with that knowledge, how to apply it, how to make sense of it, is what I think real intelligence is. Richard Feynman captured that mindset perfectly in his book. They effortlessly communicate complex concepts in a simple way. My father-in-law is very smart, went to MIT and Caltech, founded and sold several businesses, published books that are still in circulation, holds several patents, and now is working in the immunotherapy space. Anyway, I'm just a typical Midwestern State College grad, and the things I've learned about cancer and the various treatments from him are amazing. These are technical, medical, biological concepts that I could learn if I read 100 books. But he can somehow explain them in such a simple and relatable terms I feel like I really understand. It's a gift of genius. They spend time thinking before asking a question. They can follow the plot of Kingdom Hearts without needing any line graphs or charts. When they explain something they make you feel intelligent. They can ask really good questions. How does a person learn how to ask good thought-provoking questions? By having enough knowledge and experience across different domains such that they can see similarities, differences, and spot missing information that is worth asking a question about. Getting there requires asking a ton of simple questions along the way. Massive alien for it. They know when their knowledge ends and say something to the extent of "I don't know and anything else I say on this topic is ignorant speculation." Favorite line I got from a professor, that made me genuinely realize I can have my own thought, was, "That's a great question that I don't know but we need to talk about." Conveyed immediate interest, but kept her same professional knowledge base, which allowed me to explore my ideas with her. It really showed me what discourse is all about. They admit to changing their mind about something. They aren't afraid to say they don't know the answer to a question. It's weird because I've met some remarkably intelligent people who are insecure and or socially awkward, like, not being rude, but legitimately may not be neurotypical, and they don't fall under any of the categories that are being described in this thread. Most of these comments seem to be based around people who are intelligent and humble, which, although incredibly admirable, is not necessarily a guaranteed intersection. It seems like the focus here is more on people who are both socially and conceptually intelligent, but there's plenty of very intelligent people who are in one or the other categories. As an example, a fair amount of the really intelligent people I've met rarely ask questions or carry much of a conversation at all. They make mental notations of information they've digested and then go and learn more about the concepts independently, or if someone is struggling to keep up with their concepts they can get bored and move on. As nice as it is to think that intelligence is backed by social skills, it's frequently not. A primary example is that Stephen Hawking's work was slowed down tremendously when he to explain concepts to the people he worked, because it frequently would take him longer to adequately explain the concepts than to come up with them, but because his physical limitations he had to go through the process anyways. I'm not saying that intelligent people are unable to explain concepts or unwilling to ask questions, but if they feel that work could be done more efficiently by the doing independent work or research they may not say much at all. Their learning patterns and socializing skills don't necessarily dictate pure intelligence. Sometimes it's just a marker for being both intelligent and being able to effectively read others, socially apt. Although this is just my personal experiences, others may have differing ones, And statically speaking, if most folks upvoting feel that how willing someone is to admit lack of understanding or ability to expand on complex concepts simply is a better identifying factor for intelligence, it probably is. I'm guessing I just had anomalistic personal experiences so far. People who use analogies to explain concepts to others. It's a form of code switching, and integrating concepts on the fly is a clear indicator someone is both socially and conceptually intelligent. I think intelligent people are more willing to calmly debate/discuss, rather than argue. Like, you explain to them why you disagree, and they listen to you and ask further questions about your viewpoint before offering a different perspective, as opposed to an unintelligent person, who would just resort to insults when other people disagree with them. They apply knowledge from one realm into a new and relevant situation. For instance, one person described a situation, might have been on Reddit, where they were a new assistant in an academic research lab and fixed a snag that stumped all the senior researchers, including the professor. The team was trying to video record their project using a strobe light, and their footage wasn't working as planned. When no one else made progress at diagnosing or solving the problem, the most junior individual spoke up and suggested that the strobe could be out of phase. They remembered that video typically records at a rate of 24 frames a minute second. Thanks for the correction, and explained that, along with suggesting a change to the strobe's flash rate so it would coincide with the recording. This worked. And it really raised up that individual's reputation within the group. Inwardly they were almost embarrassed about the source of this knowledge. They had a gaming hobby back in high school, and had taken some video footage of that, and discovered the standard frame rate while playing around in editing software. But they remembered that detail years later and realized it made a difference in a completely different context. That is intelligence. Talking to people as if they're intelligent at their level and without being condescending or even letting on that it's lower than their level. I used to work with a doctor, Tom Howard, and the day I realized he was a genius was the time he guessed every single condition a patient of mine had based on minute pieces of information about him. Humor. I think that truly funny people are often very smart and cognizant of the different ways an idea can be humorous on several levels. They also know their audience. I think the difference between, say, a Jeff Foxworthy and a Dave Chappelle and a Bo Burnham is their audience and their interests. They let idiots have the last word because they realize that trying to argue any point with them is futile. You know the saying, the bigger man walks away from a fight? Same kinda thing with intelligence. People who are genuinely curious about the world, ask questions, and listen to others instead of just waiting for their turn to talk. Also, they don't view education as just a means to get a job. There is also this lovely thing I like to call intelligence by association. I am a prime example of this. My small rural town seems to think I'm a genius simply because I can read at a level above your average fourth grader, when in fact I'm a high-functioning moron. Dynamism and creativity. I really don't agree with that old notion of an intelligent person, as someone with social difficulties who's good at logical thinking. This is just one single possibility, among dozens of others. You can honestly just tell by their vibes. The way they compose themselves, talk, write, think, explain, etc. What I find the most interesting is that intelligent people, in my experience, are more likely to be less cold/fact-driven and more theoretical and creative. For example, if an intelligent person were to read a certain stat, fact, idea, etc., they are likely to have very interesting theoretical extrapolations. My friend qualified for the Mensa membership, and whenever we talk, his mindset always strays towards very interesting outlooks. He has certain ideas that I would never have even thought about. It's actually very fun to talk to intelligent people. The way they are able to absorb information like a sponge and apply that information is very eye-opening. This is more of a hit or miss one, but in casual conversation they're good at puns/wordplay. Making good puns, especially spontaneously, requires a high level of understanding in whatever language is being spoken. If they tell you a pre-constructed joke that has a punchline that is a punchline if you will, you can't really tell, because they could have had a lot of time to come up with it, like me for instance, or they could have memorized it from somewhere, but spontaneous puns generally mean they're processing your conversation multiple interpretations at once, in an intelligent way. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you are interested in more Reddit content. See you in next video.